Jinder Mahal won the WWE Championship. Yes, he won the WWE Championship. It was 4 years ago, and it still seems unbelievable. I was there. And you ever been in a room where 15,000 people suck the air out of the room? Because that's what it was like. It's even harder to consider that he was released from the company just a few years before that. His case isn't the only one. I'm Kevin, and here are 5 released WWE Superstars who returned to great success. Enjoying this video? Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling on YouTube. Number 5, R-Truth. If it feels like Ron R-Truth Killings has been in WWE forever, well, he hasn't. He has, however, spent a combined total of over 20 years with the company, be it as a heel or a babyface or someone talking to an imaginary person named Jimmy. In 2002, he was future endeavored, and his superstar career was in doubt. Truth, then called K-Quick, debuted on the main roster in 2000 as a tag team partner for Road Dogg Jesse James. By 2002, Killings had found himself being shown WWE's exit door. Killings moved over to TNA NWA, where he became a 2-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the first African-American wrestler ever to hold that championship. 6 years later, R-Truth's success in TNA regained the attention of WWE, and in 2008, he signed a new deal with the company. He's been there ever since and has enjoyed 50-plus reigns as the WWE 24/7 champion. Yes, the most respected championship in all of wrestling, or one of the most entertaining, depending on who you ask. Years after re-signing with WWE, R-Truth would mention on a podcast interview that he actually thanked Vince McMahon for firing him years earlier, claiming it gave him a chance to grow and mature. Number 4, Jinder Mahal. Since making his debut on the WWE main roster in 2011, Jinder Mahal's career in the company has been anything but typical. Mahal was introduced as the Great Khali's brother-in-law, constantly berating the now WWE Hall of Famer for not taking his wrestling career seriously. Not more than a year later, Mahal would find himself in 3MB. Along with Drew McIntyre, we're getting to him, and Heath Slater, we're getting to him, just not yet. While the faction was entertaining, it wasn't enough to keep Jinder in the good graces of WWE, and in 2014, Jinder found himself released from the company. After some time on the independent circuit in the United States and Canada, as well as in India, a lifestyle change saw him abstain from alcohol, shedding 20 pounds, and just looking shredded like a whole bunch of salad. If you were eating the salad, it should be shredded. You get what I was saying. He looked great. He found himself once again employed by the WWE in 2016. In the summer of 2017, however, Jinder found himself in a WWE Championship match against then Randy Orton, and he did the unthinkable. He won. I was there. I was at the Allstate Arena in Chicago. Have you ever been in a room where, 18,000 people suck the air out of it at the same time? He would in fact hold on to the title for 6 months, defending the title against both Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, before eventually dropping it to AJ Styles. Mahal wouldn't just wander off into obscurity, however, as not too long after he would gain the United States Championship, and at WrestleMania of all shows, he also helped introduce the main roster audience to the Bollywood Boys. Number 3, Eddie Guerrero. When Eddie Guerrero left WCW for WWE, along with the rest of the cohorts in the Radicals in 2000s, hopes were high for him. Well, they were high for all 4 of them, but Guerrero's skills and lineage, as well as his established charisma, put him above the rest of the group. As far as expectations went, he was the one that was set to break out the most. Unfortunately, a car accident he suffered a year before signing with WWE left him with an addiction to painkillers, which also led to an addiction to alcohol. Near the end of 2001, Guerrero had been arrested for drunk driving and soon was released from WWE. It was less than a year later, after months on the independent circuit and the international scene, as well as working on cleaning up his life, that Guerrero returned to the WWE, and the hits just kept coming as he became one of the biggest stars of the ruthless aggression era. It was during this time that Guerrero really honed his lie, cheat, steal persona, including coming up with some of the most creative ways to win matches that we've ever seen in professional wrestling. Come on, that thing he did with the chair? Oh, that was awesome. I loved it. He won the WWE Tag Team Championship multiple times, as well as a reign as the U.S. champion. Most impressive, however, was his win for the WWE Championship, in which he beat the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, to a huge ovation in 2004. It was in 2005 that Eddie Guerrero passed away, but from the time he returned to WWE until his final days, Guerrero accomplished more than most wrestlers get to do in a lifetime. Drew McIntyre. While we're talking about former members of 3MB, let's turn our attention to former WWE champion Drew McIntyre. Without a doubt, McIntyre has been the most decorated member of the group since its split in 2014. It wasn't exactly an easy road to get there. Drew was introduced to the WWE Universe by Vince McMahon himself, saying that this would be a future world champion, which I'm pretty sure is absolutely no pressure at all on the poor guy. No pressure at all. Despite winning the Intercontinental Championship and having a banger of a theme song, Drew couldn't keep the momentum going and soon found himself floundering in the mid-card, and then worse yet, with 3MB. Eventually, in 2014, WWE released McIntyre from his contract. Drew returned to his given name, Drew Galloway, and started back from the beginning in his British independent wrestling roots. With a new, bulkier look and a cleaner attitude, McIntyre once again caught the eye of the WWE. After winning a couple of world titles in Impact Wrestling, returning to the company as part of NXT, probably familiar with what happened after that, he won the NXT Championship. He won the Royal Rumble. He beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, unfortunately in front of no fans, and then went on to win another WWE Championship, and all that jazz. At 35 years old, Drew still has plenty of years left to make an even bigger mark on both the WWE and the wrestling business as a whole. If you love Drew McIntyre, definitely check out our interview with him on our channel. Number 1, Daniel Bryan. The story of Daniel Bryan's path to WWE success has been told millions of times, maybe just in Sportskeeda wrestling videos alone. Bryan began his career in 1999 after training at the school co-founded by Shawn Michaels. He signed a deal with WWE in 2000 and worked in their developmental territories for just under 2 years before being released. Then he went to Japan, then Ring of Honor, and destroyed everybody along the way, eventually gaining the attention of WWE and signing a deal some years later. He returned as a part of the groundbreaking faction Nexus, but was fired the first night they debuted for choking ring announcer Justin Roberts with his own necktie. That wouldn't last long, however, as Bryan would be brought back to the company just a few months later at SummerSlam as a surprise member of Team WWE, and they took out his former Nexus buddies. Bryan became one of the best WWE superstars of the last 20 years, capturing the United States Championship, forming one of the more memorable tag teams in Team Hell No, and having possibly one of the best WrestleMania endings of all time, defeating Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton in one night to capture the world title. Come on, you remember that. It made you feel good. Tell us your favorite WWE comeback story in the comments below. We'll jump into the conversation as well. If you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling on YouTube with your notifications on. And remember, as always, enjoy wrestling.